This is K-Rockcast, the podcast where music and perspectives collide.
I'm Anne, a music lover who's the ultimate fan.
And I'm Kelly, a professional musician. Join us as we dive into the world of the Rose and other Korean and Asian rock bands.
Sometimes we'll agree, sometimes we'll wildly disagree, but what's guaranteed is a passionate, hilarious, and unfiltered conversation about the music that unites us and the bands that inspire us.
On today's show,
and talk to you guys all day if I just had some fucking water. And I didn't have a schedule. I cleared it.
Hi, everybody. We're back. This is episode 24, Into the Future. Listeners and viewers, we're trying something a little bit new with our format. We're going to be pushing out our hot takes content a little more in real time. As separate mini episodes. We're kind of kicking that off today. We're going to talk about two topics that are in some recent news with the Rose. One being Woosung had a live stream on Instagram on August 22nd, and he had some interesting takes, Kelly, about kind of the future of the Rose, the future of his issues with his voice that we're going to talk about and react to today. And then we also have some exciting news from the Rose documentary film about an upcoming film festival. So we're going to talk that through and wrap up today with our predictions, Kelly. You know, I have to say we tend to get shit right on K-Rock Cast, so this might be fun to see how well we do with these predictions when things come out of the future of the Rose. But that's how we'll wrap it up today. So let's start, Kelly, with talking about Woosung's live stream on August 22nd. I have to say, I was shocked. When I saw him, the notification that came through, I was asleep because he did this very early in the morning time for me in the United States. But when I saw it on my phone and then saw, the reaction that he had done it, I mean, I just have honestly kind of gotten, I don't know, is this sad to say, Kelly, like used to him being absent?
absent. Yeah,
So
exactly.
I was shocked. I mean, in all honesty, he's not been on social media much at all in the last year. The last time he was on a solo live stream was on March 27th. So he came on live before their performance, before he had to leave the hotel at the La 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 festival that the guys played in Jakarta. Yeah, it was, he just, he wanted to, I guess, kind of reach out and talk with Black Roses. And I think it was really sweet, Kelly, because at first, didn't you think he felt a little awkward?
Yeah, I mean, it is
Didn't he
awkward. I
seem-
mean, this is
Yeah.
awkward. So I can understand that. There's nothing worse. I
Yeah.
mean, at least I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to myself, which is generally speaking what happens when I have
Right.
to do station heads and things like that. But yeah, it is awkward. Not to have that automatic feedback, and if you are getting feedback, it's literally just a run of words, and a lot of those aren't necessarily conversation starters. Shall we put it that way? So I understand him feeling awkward, but I
Yeah.
think he soon got his pace and he started to feel a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was nice to
I think he
see.
did
Yeah,
too. It was
yeah,
nice to see. I think you're right. Like, he came on, he admitted, he's like, I don't really know what to say. I haven't done this in a while. And I think he fell into what is so comfortable for him. I tease him. I call him a yapper, but he has such a way with people.
yeah,
And I think he feeds off of the live conversation. And so that's really what he did for most of the live stream is he pulled in Black Roses and had one-on-one conversations with them. And I could tell then by the end, he felt more comfortable. He felt more at ease. I mean, he even ended the live stream literally saying that he really enjoyed it and he kind of wished he could do it all day, the rest of his day. I think
yeah.
he stayed on for close to an hour. which
Yeah,
is pretty
which was
significant.
kind of shocking, to be honest, because I was actually getting ready to go out for a meeting, and I was like, "Dude, hurry up! Seriously, I mean, I've literally got ready while I've been yapping. I've got to go. Come on, just wrap it up, wrap it up." He did, bless him, just in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, it was kind of. I mean, it was nice, but it shouldn't feel shocking. And I know some people felt a bit like, "Oh, okay, what's sort of happening here?" type of thing. Um, I think it's something that's sorely missed. I
Mhm.
from right, so from a musician's point of view, it's horrid the fact that you have to do these things. I mean, you can't just be a musician. I mean, I've spoke about this before. You've got to be everything else, and part of that's a
Mhm.
content creator. Um, so I understand that sort of need and want from the audience to do it. But then there's the other part of it where, as an individual, you're like, I've got to sit and talk about I don't know what and whether or not people are going to react or interact. And um, no disrespect to a lot of our listeners. I mean, a lot of it isn't conversation. It's not conversation that you could actually have when it's a stream of just the messages flying up, because it will generally be just, the usual Sammy, I love you, and all that malarkey. But I mean, there are genuine questions in there. So obviously, he decided to invite people on to have a conversation, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, and one of those individuals that he brought on kind of spurred one of the big topics we wanted to talk about, in true Woosung fashion. He's always so candid, maybe sometimes a little too candid. I don't know, people's different
Yeah, I mean,
opinions. He is
as
always
as as,
honest and transparent.
as I've said to you, sometimes Sammy is his own worst PR.
Yeah, let me tell you, if I
Just
know
every
they
now
probably
and
don't
again.
have they do not have somebody full time on staff that does PR, but if they
Yeah,
did, that person would be pulling their hair out at this man
yeah,
because you never know what he will say.
without a
So, our
shadow of a
first
doubt.
topic, Kelly, yes, our first topic is his voice. He
Mm,
talked very openly and candidly about his voice challenges and what's happening. So let's kind of take a step back, listeners, to update you if you're not as familiar about some of his challenges, which Kelly, we have actually literally in the first episode we did on this podcast in
yeah,
Into the Void Part 2, we wrapped that episode up with talking about what we thought at that time was a controversial topic, and it
yeah,
was his voice challenges. You and I
yeah.
had a long conversation about how he has struggled in recent years. We knew in 2023 he had vocal nodules. Um, and you had this really long, thorough breakdown of how the voice vocal cords work, what
Yeah,
a vocal node is, how it affects his voice. And it was so interesting because he did the same thing actually
yeah,
with this black rose that he was
yeah.
talking to. So we have that clip. I'm going to play it now for our viewers.
Yeah, it's getting better,
Sorry.
honestly. It sounds better, right? That you could tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta go to the hospital for my voice. I think I have a couple of like nodules,
Ah, wow,
little.
yeah.
So yeah, if you want to know like how the vocal cords work, it like vibrates like this, like really
Uh-huh.
fast to make
Mm-hmm.
sounds. And the
Mm-hmm.
higher the sounds go, the more stretch the vocal cords makes. So then,
Ah,
when I have like a nodule here and here, that's when all the breath goes out. Like usually, I'm getting all technical. I don't know if you care, but
okay.
usually if I do my head voice like this much breath shouldn't come out. It's I mean, if you have heard me sing before, it should usually stick together and make a really sharp sound, like the like more like that. But even then, like my air is coming out because there's like stuff like calluses on my vocal cords that
Ah, oh,
yeah, so
that
that can't
sounds
get
that
fixed on
sounds
yeah.
sounds not comfortable.
Yeah, no, it is pretty uncomfortable. It can't be fixed until I go to the hospital. Otherwise, I just gotta rest for like a year or something, which doesn't make sense.
I'm not surprised. I can hear it as a singer. I can hear it in his voice. I think it's been pretty obvious. It was obvious when he was doing the 4444 tour. Um, I could hear the air coming out over his larynx, which was what he was on about.
Mm.
And yeah, uh, and we've seen it. It's got gradually worse during this tour, and it's usage, but it's also abuse as well. And when I say abuse, I don't mean anything like he's doing anything truly terrible to his vocal cords. But I mean, obviously, I've discussed this at length, but obviously, there are certain steps that you can do to improve how you deal with this and the lifestyle alterations that you have to do. And if you want to
Mm.
continue singing, I mean, it kind of sucks being a singer. I mean, to be perfectly honest, it does suck. You can't do anything fun. Um, but yeah, I mean, you've got to keep yourself hydrated, and hydration isn't tequila, and you can't smoke, and things like that. And you've also got to be able to know how to use your instrument properly. Not that Sammy doesn't
Mm.
know how to use his instrument. We know he does. But
Mhm.
there are ways and means of being able to protect yourself. And that's what he needs to do. And I'm kind of hoping that he's going to get that measured response afterwards, after he's had his treatment. So his treatment can come in several different forms. There's like injections that you can have, which basically ease the actual vocal cords. There's rest, but rest takes forever and a day. Or there's operations. Operations can have an effect. They can slightly alter how you sound afterwards. Um, and there are plenty of people that undergo this. It's a daily treatment. There's lots of people. I mean, you don't need to be a singer to suffer from vocal nodes, but it does primarily affect singers. And yeah, he just needs to get himself sorted. He needs to find the right people to help him, and he can do that. And I
Yeah.
have all the faith in the
Yeah.
world that he's going to come out of this and be absolutely fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he got sick in Chicago. And so I don't know exactly what illness that was, whether it was a cold, whether he started to feel some of these effects of the vocal nodes more readily. But I just felt like as that US leg, it was grueling.
Mm,
I think it was 15 shows out of their 29 in that
yeah,
leg in 30 days.
yeah,
Guys, 15, just think about that. 15 shows in 30 days. He had no break on his voice. And in between two shows, the man went and did a fan sign event where he had to
right.
talk to fans for hours at a time, right?
I'm going to be a dick now, and I will freely say this. Yes, tour schedule is grueling. Not resting properly in between the dates is actually probably more to the fact. That's one of the biggest concerns there. But
Mhm.
I come from theatre world where you do a 3 week run and you do 2 shows a day. And you do that
Mhm.
for 5 days on the trot. If you're lucky, there's an alternative cast that will come in and do it, but generally speaking, you will just do a full fucking run, and that is it. That is why you need to look after your voice.
Mhm.
You need to do these things. There are plenty of people out there that are doing the same thing and coping with it.
Yeah.
I don't mean
Yeah.
to be mean.
I just was kind of looking into No, no, I get you. I think I
Yeah.
where I was going was I felt like what we saw on the US leg was his slow descent. It
Oh,
got
yeah. Oh,
worse and worse and worse to the point when just it was heart-wrenching when he openly admitted in his Ments and that San Paulo show
Yeah.
that he almost walked off that stage, that
Yeah.
he literally was probably in so much pain and just so frustrated at himself that he couldn't get those notes out, that
And,
he's a
and that,
perfectionist, I think, in a lot of ways in terms of
yeah,
his performance. And
it's
I was
frustration.
just
You're
going to say,
right.
I feel
And
like, yeah, towards the end of this tour, I feel like he has truly gotten to a point of where he knows he has to do something. Like
yeah. And
he
if it
has to
doesn't,
make some, as you said, he has to make some very tough lifestyle altering
mhm,
decisions of what he's going to do to keep the future of his voice, because it goes into the concept we're going to be talking about today, the future of the Rose. It's
yeah,
not just his own career here. The Rose is for, right?
yeah,
And if he can't sustain, it's impacting, all of the members' future as a
exactly.
band.
Yeah.
The other part he mentioned towards the end of the live, Kelly, he said in Korean. I do, listeners and viewers, have a reel out on our Instagram and YouTube channel where I translated what he said. Do you want to go through for us what he said in that part as well about his voice?
Yeah. So thankfully, Anne is actually a hell of a lot better at Korean than I am. I think I caught probably about a quarter of it. Now, no disrespect, because this was hard work, and I know this was hard work for Anne, because our Sammy, God bless his cotton socks, likes to jump around a conversation. I was just like, okay, slow
Yeah,
down.
I don't know, Sammy, you were all over the place in your thoughts there. I don't know if you were just kind of streaming your thoughts a little bit, but it was very hard
Yeah,
to
I think
understand you.
the expression was
Hopefully I
spitballing.
hopefully I translated you accurately.
I think you did a pretty good job, to be perfectly honest. So he basically said that he'd had vocal treatment about 10 years ago, and he was trying to remember what that treatment was and how it went ahead and how successful it was. But he remembered getting an injection. So that is one of the treatments that he could go down the route, but obviously he couldn't remember the side effects. I mean, every single treatment has a respite period afterwards that you have to go through. So, like, no talking, no crap, all this, that, and the other that you've got to watch yourself. He did say he was getting a consultation. So, hoping and praying that he's already got himself booked in, he's gone and had his consultation. We know, thank God, the Korean medical profession is a hell of a lot quicker than it is in America and it is in Europe, well, especially the UK.
Mhm.
And then at the end of it, which I thought was quite interesting, and God bless you, I do want to give you a cuddle by this point, I will say this. He said he thought that taking vocal lessons wouldn't be a bad idea.
I you know why that like shocked me, Kelly? Because we had literally in episode Into the World Part 3, you and I talked about his voice
Yeah.
again. We brought it up again in that episode,
Again.
and
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
you and
yeah,
I
yeah.
talked about how stubborn the man has been about not wanting to see a vocal coach.
Yeah.
We know he's had some bad experiences and we think he's tainted, and you talked at length about how you found the amazing vocal coach that you work with, and it just struck me that then he said that.
I
So,
know.
I don't know.
I know.
We'll see what he does, but I think both of us, we have a lot of faith that he'll get good medical care and,
Oh, yeah.
he'll come out of this stronger. And yeah, but I do think he's got to make some tough decisions and
Mm,
not just do it as a quick fix right now. He needs to think
yeah.
about the long-term sustainability of his voice.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that could very easily affect me tomorrow. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm a power singer, so I mean, it could very easily affect me. I mean, it's
Yeah.
something that's been there before, but I mean, thankfully, it was a very long time ago, and it was before I'd been taught how to look after myself and where to put air and how to sing and everything else. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
hoping that he does seek out a vocal coach and they will help him. And and it's like rehabilitation. I mean, you don't break your leg and suddenly start walking again. You know, you go for rehabilitation to learn to balance again and all these type of things. So, I mean, it's just part and parcel of it. So I'm kind of hoping that he
Yeah.
does stay true to his word on that one and he gets the help. Because there are
Yeah.
good people out there that
Yeah.
will help. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, at K Rock Cast, we support you, Sammy, if you ever listen or watch this podcast. Um, direction of their music. I thought this was interesting, Kelly.
Hmm.
So there was a Black Rose that joined him, and she said something interesting to him. She asked him, would the Rose ever make music like their old songs? And she pointed out songs like She's in the Rain and Sorry. And she said to him, you know, while she loves the direction they took with the World album, and or no, excuse me, I think she said she likes the direction they're going right now. That's what she said. She's a Black Rose from kind of that debut time, and she would love to see music similar to their old style. His response to me was kind of interesting. So he said that when they even wrote those songs in the past, they didn't like intentionally pick like a direction. I think, you know, they say a lot in their songwriting. It's a lot on feeling, right? They go where the music is kind of taking them, and that
Yeah.
feeling. And he said they didn't have a direction, and he also said they don't have a direction now, and they're making it as they go. And what I thought was interesting is I don't know quite how to interpret what he meant, because I think you could interpret it two ways as I've been mulling it over. I think it could be interpreted as what he meant was just when they write the music, literally, they go
Mm.
where the music takes them. Or
Yeah.
did he mean direction in terms of like where is their arc going more strategically in like them as a band or the music? So I don't quite know what he meant. What's your take or
I
reaction on that?
I from the sort of vernacular of the conversation, I mean, because she was basically saying, you know, I want you to write Beautiful Girl again. And it's like, Jesus, that's not going to happen. No disrespect. Beautiful Girl has its place in history. History.
Oh,
I mean,
you know
come on,
what
he
I
wrote that
wouldn't,
when
you know
I
what I
mean, how
wish
old was he? Was he like 18 when he wrote that? 19?
19 or 20, I have to say, like, he was just horrified that she felt like that was like quality in their discography. And I just wanted to be
Well,
like, oh, Sam, just wait till we break that song down. I highly doubt we will have good things to say.
there will be.
But anyway, go on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We digress. I mean, it has its place. It has its place. No, I think it was more about them maturing as musicians and evolving. And a lot of the time, when you're actually writing, you don't set an agenda. You don't go, I'm going to write a rock album and walk in
Yeah.
with that sort of mindset. It's not like writing a book. So, for example, if you're writing a book, you create your characters, you create your arcs, you create your world, and you move within that world. When you're writing music, there are no boundaries. The only boundaries are the ones that you set yourself.
Mm.
And a lot of the time,
Mm.
it's that is just sort of, we're in this genre. That's the boundary you set yourself. But music these days is
Mm.
genreless. There isn't really, I mean, a lot that, I mean, I've been having this when I've been uploading REP and that, and everybody wants to know what genre you are, and you're just like, well, we're kind of this and a bit of that and a bit of this, and oh God, and
Mhm.
there's this as well, and like, oh, actually, and then there's this. And you kind of feel stupid, kind of squashing it and condensing it into this idea. And I think that's what he was alluding to. You don't know until you sit there and you start writing melodies, and the melody comes out when you go, "Ooh, okay, like that. How about we just push it this way a bit? or push it that way, and it evolves. So music's a very naturally evolving thing. And for God's
Mm-hmm.
sake, I mean, read his lyrics off of this last album. Read his lyrics off of 4444. The guy's writing, lyric writing, and I'm just going to go with the lyric writing. This is before I even start on the rest of the guys. His lyric writing has come on leaps and bounds from the difference of Sam and Ham, and I'm sure there's green eggs and God knows what involved with that somewhere along the damn line. There is literally, it's a whole different world. It is literally writing infantile lyrics. Sorry, Sam. To writing things that are poetically beautiful and luxurious and educated with thought and empathy and meaning behind it. And that's the difference. You can't say to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to remain at this point, and I just, because everybody get bored of it. It's just like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
here you go, here's another one,
Yeah.
and here's another one.
Oh yeah.
So musically,
Yeah.
that's how they evolve.
I mean, not even we don't even have to go back to Beautiful Girl. I think we
Whoa.
talked about his evolution as a songwriter from our deep dive into the Wolf album. Like
Yeah,
I reflected on that album and could see tremendous growth in him as a songwriter
yeah,
even from that era. Yeah. I think what I also thought was a little bit interesting about her perspective was I feel like maybe it's more melodically on World they went back to heal. They to me they went
yeah,
back
they did.
to their
Yeah,
quote roots. So it was like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
odd that she felt like that wasn't quite the she's in the rain or the sorry. Like I don't know exactly what she felt was so maybe it's just the nostalgia too, right? So if you've been a fan since debut and
yeah,
those were some of the first songs, maybe they just hold such a nostalgic place in her heart. But I think, as you're saying, as a music artist, you have to grow and evolve. I mean, we've been criticizing them, on the World album that sonically we want them being a little more unique. The song like Slowly that was more sonically unique. I want to see them continue to evolve and grow and explore new sounds. So, yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting. The next piece that we'll go into, Kelly, was some other big news. So we thought his voice challenges was something major that he
yeah.
dropped. He
This
just
was
said this next thing like he
microphone
was
drop.
telling us like he was, but he said it so casually, like he was telling us that he's gonna, that last week he went grocery shopping. Like it was,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like it was something so like
Oh
normal and everyday that
yeah,
their
yeah. Just off the
contract with
cuff. Yeah, yeah,
Transparent Arts is coming to an end. This
yeah,
was major news. So let
yeah,
me play that clip.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we don't know what our plans are after this. We're finishing up like our management deal, and we're gonna be on our own for the very first time in our career, and we haven't really found like the exact directions, and I think we're gonna think about it. Yeah.
Wow. Like
Mm,
I feel like again, like he said that so casually, like he just told us that he went grocery shopping last week and he doesn't know what he's making for dinner
yeah.
tonight and like what? This is
Of
huge
course,
news.
as I've said, the man's his own worst fucking PR. Um, so basically, the listener was asking, what they were doing after Soul, and he just dropped this great big fat clanger, that they had come to the end of their contract with TA, Transparent Arts, that is, and they were just getting to the point now of very finely balancing what they were going to do in the future, because this is the first time in their entire career where they are completely on their own without a management deal. And they're looking at the direction they're going to go. So there's lots of directions they could go with this. Yeah, it's interesting. So they could very easily manage themselves, A lot of bands do manage themselves. They could manage themselves with an administration team within Windfall, but that means more bums on seats and not necessarily friends sat around the table. You need professionals for this, and you need people that aren't going to say yes all the time to what you think you want to hear. And then the other one is they may take on a management deal with somebody else. We have broken down management deals in the past. There are multiple management deals. I don't know what the deal that was with Transparent Arts, because Transparent Arts could have fallen into one of two categories. So they could have been just a management company, and it could just be a straightforward management deal, or it could have been an artist to artist deal. Either, because obviously with the history of Transparent Arts and their background. Now, I don't think many people take on board that when you have a deal with any form of management, they take a really big cut of your earnings, and that's after tax. So once you've got all your money in your pot, you've paid the tax man, and before you can even look at your wages, because you've literally paid everybody else out, you then have to take out this chunk of money that goes to your management. Now, some people in the past, like, Elvis Presley's management used to take pretty much most of his money. Most management deals now are around 25%. So it doesn't matter how much money you get in the pot, 25% of what you've got net is going to vanish the minute that you get to it. So, I mean, if you're just you as a solo artist, you're slightly better off. But if there's four of you in a band, you've then got to split the 75% between four of you. So can you see how the artists are actually coming out worse than the management? So when you look at bands like Polyphonic Spree and there's 12 of them in that, you've got to start questioning the logic of having a management team. So they could manage themselves. I know Sammy has said in the past that he'd probably want to look at being a manager himself in the future. I could see him doing quite well with that, to be honest. And this could be decent training ground for him. So why do we have management? Management is there for the day-to-day running of everything. They are the person that connect the dots. They are the person that makes sure that you get where you're meant to be every single day. They are the fixers. They are the mum and dad of the band. And I mean, seriously, I know a few managers, and they've worked primarily with independent bands. They put their heart and soul into those bands. We're not talking about band like the Roses level where they're actually making money. They're not making money. The manager has quite physically put money in themselves to make sure that they actually continue as a going asset. And it's a hard job. It's a hard job to do. So then the second idea is that you have like an administration level within Windfall. And it's a round table. And this is something that I've looked very much at creating with Ghost Depot Records, because I don't want a manager in place for my band, because I know it's something that we can't do. But I understand the logistics of what needs to be done within that role and how to quantify it and place it within the correct spheres and the people that can do it. Yes, I've got people around me that I've known for years helping me, but I've also got people that I know are strict professionals. I've also got friends that I know have no problem telling me, Kelly, you are batshit crazy. That isn't going to fucking work. Shut your gob. And every now and again, they're the people you need.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're going to have that in place, I don't know. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I'll be kind of honest. I think we saw inklings of this. You and I were hesitant to say anything very publicly on the podcast up until this point. We obviously, him saying it, we're fine saying
Doors
it
open.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Doors open. You and I saw this coming a while ago. And I think the
Yeah,
first hint was World. World was completely on their own.
yeah,
But what we also saw was a lot of administrative challenges. They literally only have 3 employees and the 4 guys as part of Windfall. I
yeah.
think what we saw, it's not enough. It is
It
not enough
isn't.
for them to be able to execute at the level of a band that they are. And so I like what you're saying about I do hope that they, if they have the capital to hire more staff at Windfall, that they hire professionals in some of these
Yeah,
administrative aspects of running things so they don't have to run them, but then they also truly have people running them that have a background in what they're doing, that
yeah,
know what they're doing. I think that's where I worry a little bit about their future and what is it going to mean for them truly being on their own when I
yeah.
think they've struggled during the release of World.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah,
Now,
yeah. So
I will
we'll see.
honestly say that I think there's two things that they've got going for them that they don't really need to make any changes on, because these two things are fantastic. One is the fact that they are now officially a DIY band. They can do the
Mm,
recording themselves, they can do beginning
mm,
to end and don't have an issue. And the reason that they can do that is
mhm.
because we have Einstein himself, Dojun, there. The fact that the guy can literally sit from beginning to end and create these
Yeah.
masterpieces. And honestly, if Dojun isn't being sort of having people knocking at his door now going, fancy just producing something for us, I will be
Oh,
amazed.
yeah.
I will be amazed. Because I mean,
Mm,
I'd quite happily knock on his door and say, would you like to come and work with us? Um, because it's there. You can hear it. You can hear the quality and the expertise in what he's doing. And it is literally because he's a perfectionist. You
mhm.
can hear it. And the other bit of this is the tour team. And all praise to James. James Hill, absolutely fantastic tour manager. The fact that that guy has managed to corral what can only be described as cats on catnip after raiding a bag of sour gummies, I do not know.
Yeah.
Well done, bloke.
We're
Well
going to do an
done.
episode. Yeah, we're going to do a deep dive into the world tour. And so we'll talk more about the intricacies, but just the level of logistics James Hill had to
Insane.
manage and coordinate with shipping all of the stuff from the stage. That stage was so intricate.
Oh,
Um,
I mean,
that alone.
people. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, people literally just think that they take the stuff off of the stage and they put it in a van and it drives to the next venue, or it goes on a ship or in a plane or whatever. People, what you don't bear in mind now is you've got customs forms to fill in. You have got to have all of the correct coding for
Mhm.
every single sodding item that's on there. And if that coding isn't right, it's not going. I mean, and that's just
Yeah.
the stuff that's off on the stage, let alone your instruments and everything else. All of those have got to be done. So honestly, well done, James. You are brilliant at your job.
Yeah.
You are an absolute
Yeah.
master at doing it. And
Kudos
congratulations
to him and the
to
rest
you
of
and
the
your
crew.
team. Yeah, honestly, they really are. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. There was,
I think
and here we go again though. Administration issues with the tour. It was administration issues with the tour. It was not looking at contracts. There were
yeah.
things that hadn't been highlighted in contracts that cause massive fucking issues. And it's like, dude, read a contract. Come on, it's not hard. If you can't read a
Yeah.
contract, hire somebody that can read a contract to do this. It's, I mean, ugh,
Yeah.
sorry.
I think the areas they need to I agree with those areas that I think are strong
Oh,
and
so strong.
they have done well on their own. I think where they're going to have to put more focus is things that you and I have said, fan engagement. They need somebody coming in and helping them with a strategy in a way that
Completely.
is sustainable for them, and what
Yeah.
how they want to engage their fan base, because it's all over the place. It's not unified. It's
No.
there's no strategy around it. And then I
Yeah.
think the other piece is just marketing and promotion. We
Oh,
we ranted about how they did not promote this world album.
no.
There seems to be, again, no strategy for them around how to get themselves out there, how to really promote themselves, what are the
Yeah.
right ways, what are the right outlets. And so I think they need to work on those things,
Honest,
being on their own. Um,
honestly, it,
yeah.
it 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 breaks. It annoys me and it breaks my heart in both ways. So it annoys me because
Mhm.
I look at it and I go, "Fucking hell, dude! Seriously, this is simple. This is simple.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking things that you could do just to line." And I hate this saying, but it's the most corporate saying in the world. But get all your ducks in a row. It's not. It's not hard. It's project management. This is all it damn well is. The fact of, yes, customer engagement, fan engagement, however we want to describe it, because at the end of the day, your listeners are your customers. They
Mhm.
need to be happy. There are simple things that could be done. I mean,
Mhm.
we've got the Rosarium, which is a great platform. It's not
Mhm.
used. Again, it's like Discord was. New toy,
Yeah.
let's play with it a while, let's discard it. People are
Yeah.
paying for
I
this
I mean,
toy.
I think it goes back to me. I don't think these things are hard, but you need
No.
you need someone doing them. They do take
Yes,
time. And so
they
if you have
do take
3
time.
people, if all you
Yeah.
got is 3 people, there's
Yeah.
probably other things that are taking up their time, and so that just goes
And
back to they've gotta hire more admin staff.
they need to hire more. They need
Okay,
to hire
so
more
let's move
people.
on.
No, 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 no. I am just going to
Yeah.
say this, and this is where I'm going to be an absolute fucking bitch. I'm sorry, guys. I don't care whether or not you want to hear this or not. But this goes out. I mean, I am doing this shit for me on my own.
Mhm.
When it comes to the podcast, it's me and Anne that do this. I do all the background bits and pieces. I do all the editing and do all the mumbo jumbo that nobody really sees. And Anne, God bless her, does all
You're
the
the genius
promotion and
behind the
pushes
scenes.
all of this. And we do this together. And then when it comes to me music wise, I do all this shit on my own. Guys, it isn't hard. You are at a point and a precipice where you can springboard forward. Use your noggins, get your asses in fucking gear, get the right people in the right places, and my God, guys, you can just go forward. But do it. Please do it. Sorry,
Yeah.
rant over. I'll stop now.
All all right, we ranted on that one probably longer than anticipated. Uh, all right, Busan Film Festival. This is exciting, Kelly. It was announced on August 26th through the Rose Doc Instagram account that the Rose's documentary film, The Rose Come Back to Me, was picked up for the International Busan Film Festival. Yay! Congrats to the production company. Congrats to all the crew that worked on this film. In addition to, obviously, congratulations to the members of the Rose. This is major news and a great step forward for the films in terms of like just its increased visibility.
Mm,
Um, I think for us, this is occurring in, I think, mid-September. There will be several screenings. The guys are going to be appearing. I believe the guys shared, I think, at the Soul
yeah.
Q&A show that they're going to be there. They're even going to be performing. I think they'll perform Trauma, probably, which is the song that was just released coming from this film. I think for us, we've been talking about this, Kelly. We're so interested to see how this film's going to be received in Korea. I think,
Yeah.
especially from Korean media, and why I say I'm curious is because I think there's given just some of the topics that this film goes into, in particular, Woosung's drug issues that he had in the past and how Korean media treated him and the Rose and what that did for the Rose's career in Korea, really pretty much
Mhm.
shut it down in 2023. Just seeing how the media is going to respond with these things kind of coming back up. What's your kind of take on this?
Kind of scares me a little bit. So, first off, it's amazing
Mm,
that they've got this. And may I just point out, they haven't just been dropped into like the documentary category. This is international level. So they've gone into the Busan Film Festival as an international documentary. That's huge. That's not, it's just been picked up because we're pushing the
yeah.
Korean film industry. This is legitimate merit that they've got in on. And all I can say is well done to Eugene and Diane and your entire team, because testament to you. That is exceptional and well done. Very, very proud of all of them. When it comes to how the subjects will be received, I think the audience viewing it will view it very well. We know that there will be black roses in attendance to see this, but I think a general audience that is a film going audience and a documentary going audience will view this film as as it is intended, and they won't take anything as a negative from this. My only concern is knowing what the Korean media are like and whether the Korean media are going to pick up old news, which really wasn't news at all. I mean, it wasn't news. I mean, it's blown out of all bloody proportion. But they're going to pick up that news and run with it. And I don't think the guys
Mhm,
need that tarnishing. I'm kind of hoping
mhm.
that because they've come out and been very transparent and very clear about all of it in the documentary, that it's drawing a line in the sand for them. But I don't want the Korean media to come along and smudge the line again. What's your feeling
I
on that?
know. I have to agree with you because I just think the Korean media is ruthless. They
Mm,
just are, they're piranhas. I mean, there's just
they're horrid.
no bits about it. They're
I mean,
horrid, and I feel like they've moved past this, and
yeah,
I just worry like you. I worry that it brings it all up again, and if the Korean media just think that they can sniff something out that they can jump on to, that they will.
yeah,
But on the other hand, I think it's a nice opportunity to hopefully have more than just black roses attending the
yes,
screening. And no,
yeah,
black roses, we got to come out and support our guys. Like, I'm not saying we shouldn't go to these screenings and come out in droves to support them, but we also need to realize we need to make sure more people who aren't fans are coming to see this film, because we
yeah,
all know who've seen it that this film will resonate with anyone, because it's just
yeah,
about a story that is a human experience story. And so
yes,
the more people who aren't black roses already that see it, just helps expand the reach. We need to expand the reach, not only keep the film within the current group that already
yeah,
knows about the band and enjoys the band and respects the band. And so I
yeah,
think this is an opportunity to expand who's seeing this film, and so I think that's a great thing. And this is, as you said, this is a major international film festival. Hopefully it does well, only then picks up more film festivals, And the more, as we've been saying on this podcast, it was talked about in our great interview with Eugene Yee and Diane Kwan, who is the director and producer of the film. Check out that interview Into the Transmission if you haven't listened yet. But any continued interest like this just helps getting distribution, right? And that
Yeah,
is the ultimate goal that everyone has
it
for
is. Yeah,
this film.
definitely.
So yeah, we'll be excited to see. Another quick plug, we do have this linked in the episode description. They did just release a website, which is www.therosedoc.com. If you don't follow them on Instagram, also we have their Instagram handle at the Rose Doc. Definitely follow them, check out their website. You can join their mailing list, and that's just going to keep you up to date on any new screenings around the world. I know, they're looking to screen in more places across the world. So please, listeners, if they haven't come to your area of the world, they are not neglecting you. They're not purposely not coming to Europe. They want to be there. They're going to try to be there. And I know that they will do everything in their power to extend the reach of this film. We just might have to be patient and keep promoting it, because that helps spread the interest.
Yeah.
So why don't we wrap up with our final predictions for the future of what's next for the Rose? Do you want to go first, Kelly?
Right. So we know for
That
a
was a
fact.
heavy sigh.
Oh no. We know for a fact that obviously Sam needs to get himself healthy. So that's point one. That's not going to be a quick fix. That isn't go in, have it sorted,
Yeah.
and you fine the next day. There's a level of rehabilitation needed within that. However, it doesn't mean he can sit on his laurels and just play Overwatch. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the guy can do shit while he's getting better.
I feel like this is a lovely opportunity that Sammy could get fully caught up on K-Rock Cast.
This is correct. He can start listening and he can get caught up. And he can listen to me whine incessantly about what he should be fucking doing.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't want him listening to this podcast. There's a lot of sus content that happens throughout. Let me see these 24.
Hey, that is not me. That is you. Not me.
Okay, scratch that. No, we don't need Sammy listening. Go play Overwatch.
No, we don't
Sammy.
need anybody listening.
Don't listen to K-Rock Cast. Nope.
No, we don't need that. No, we're fine. We're good. We're good. Yeah, you're okay. You're good. But no, there's stuff that he can be doing whilst they're doing that, and a lot of that may be writing. But bearing in mind, we know for a fact that there's a shelved album. Whether or not that shelved album sees the light of day as it is, whether that shelved album is reinvigorated to become something else, there may, dependent on various contractual items that may be included within that album, they may not be able to release it as is. But we know that there is music there. We also know that they are continually writing anyway. As a musician, you can't help it. It just happens. It just pours out of you. The minute it stops, you worry. There's music there. They've also got to develop what Windfall is and who they are. Are they just musicians, or are they? I describe it as building empires. And is that what you're doing? Are you going to start building an empire? And I kind of see that. I can kind of see that with our two slightly elder statesmen. That sounds terrible to call them that. But elder statesmen.
Or attaches.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they had freely admitted that that's what they were. But there is that, and you can see that development because there's other things happening, and they're working on other things, and there's songwriting, and they're producing, and everything else. This is empire building.
Yeah.
This is important. Yeah. This is future proofing. So you've got that.
Yes.
And I personally think there's multiple things that's going to happen here. So obviously we've got Sam's voice and when he's ready to go. You've also got whatever's going to happen to the documentary. Now, if the
Mm-hmm.
documentary, heaven forbid, just kind of plods around and then ends up being released via the documentary website as a pay-per-view or whatever, that's worst case scenario. Or as Sam said, I think it was in Seoul that he was just going to stick it on his Instagram. That won't work. That's really don't want to do that, Sam. Please do
Can
not
we
do
not?
that.
Let's be careful here. We
Please
also
don't do
can't put
that.
that past. Like he
I
would do
don't put
something like
anything
that.
past him. No. Look, let's not do. Let's just not back away from the Instagram. Leave it alone.
I feel like oh my God, Eugene and Diane didn't hear that. They probably would have been like, "Oh dear God, somebody like."
I hope and pray they haven't heard
that
that.
little meme with the Muppet on the dumpster fire.
Or the one sat there with his hat and his cup of coffee going, everything's all right, everything's all right, everything's okay. Yeah, just no, just
Dear
oh my
God.
God, no, Sam, stop it,
Oh.
behave.
Somebody should have.
But
Sometimes you know what someone needs to do. You know what they need to hire? Just literally a person. I'll take this job, the Rose, where I'll tell James Hill, just give me the control of his mic. And the second he starts that yapping, I'll just turn it off. I'll just
you're
turn his
polite.
mic off. Somebody turn the mic off.
You're polite.
He
I'd
needs his
just get
mic
him a
turned off
shock
sometimes.
collar. No, I'd just get him a shock collar, and every time he started, just go, yeah,
Turn
stop
the mic
it!
off. Somebody turn his mic off.
Like reverse Pavlov's dog. We're just going to go down that route instead. But obviously, if the film does okay and it ends up with a streaming service, so if it ends up with something like Netflix, because it doesn't fall into like major film categories, so it wouldn't be like a summer blockbuster like Wednesday or something like that, and it wouldn't be like the Christmas, autumn into winter blockbuster, something like Stranger Things. It could literally get the go ahead, be greenlit, and then be on a month later. Now, the thing is with that, if you've suddenly got this huge platform, you need to be ready to go. You need to be able to act upon it. This is huge. If this happens, the guys need to go, shit, album out. Let's prioritize. So we've got this. We've got an album ready to go. We've got a tour ready to go. That's how you build momentum. And that was one of the problems with World.
Mm-hmm.
They lost momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that kind of
Yeah.
worries me. The fact that they may
Yeah.
lose momentum. You lose momentum, you lose interest. Obviously,
Yeah.
you've got your die-hard fans, you've got the people that are always going to be there. But for the
Mm-hmm.
ones that are just kind of joining, and they have picked up new fans. We legitimately see it every day. It's people like, I've never seen them before. This is the first song I've heard. Oh my God, this is amazing. And they fall in love with them. But you have
Mm-hmm.
to keep that momentum going. And by literally going away and then, as you said, circling the wagons, you then end up in a shitty thing because you block out all of that new exuberance and interest. And if you
Yeah.
do that, you lose your listeners. So you do have to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got to keep some momentum. I would kind of hope that they may have something out, like a single or something, in the end of the year. They can't do it December, but you'd have to be careful December because obviously that's like holiday season and you fall into that trap. And I'd like to think they'd probably have an album out at the end of the first quarter next year. But one of the things they missed this year was they missed the festival circuit. And festival circuit, so for example, now I'm looking at the festival circuit for my band for literally June, July, August next year. I'm having to fill out paperwork now and requests and submit stuff for us to get on a tent at a festival, which has probably only got 500 people on it, and we'll be on at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So if the guys are wanting to
Mm-hmm.
be on and they're wanting to perform at a decent time to a decent size audience, they already should have had that in place. So hopefully they've got some festivals lined up for next year, because if they haven't, they're a bit daft.
Yeah.
And then I would
Yeah.
expect a tour in the autumn. So I would have expected a tour probably to kick off next year around about this time for whatever they're doing. But I would have expected summer shows. What do you think? Have you got any other
Mm-hmm.
ideas?
No, I think I completely agree with everything you said. I think there's just two huge unknowns that you said. His
Mm,
voice,
yeah,
the amount of time the man's going to have to rest, whether he will follow doctor's orders and truly, help his way along recovery, or whether he won't, that will only exacerbate his problems, and what the documentary's future means for
yeah,
when they should capitalize on that, momentum. I
definitely.
think in my mind too, what I would love to see is a single before the end of the year, an album released at some point, next year. I think I'm with you. It'll be interesting to see, do they keep with the shelved album? Do they re-envision it? I
Yeah.
think they follow a lot on where they're feeling at the time. And I think, a few months time to a year of maybe when they were working on the album that was, I think they've changed a lot, and I don't know if they would still
Mm,
feel it's reflective of the sound they want to put out. So
yeah.
I think too, what they need to kind of do is come together in this time that Sammy's going to go through his treatment, and figure out, like you said, what is the future of Windfall? What do they want?
Mm,
I just wonder sometimes, I just wonder if they want to get, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. I'm being thoughtful
I
about what I'm
think I
saying.
know what you're.
I,
I think I know what you're going to say, because this thought's
I
gone
just
through my head as well.
wonder, I just wonder if they really want to get big,
Hmm.
or whether there's a certain level of success they want to achieve,
Yeah,
and they're okay if they kind of stay there.
yeah.
And I'm not
So
saying that as like a bad thing or a good thing. It's
no.
not a bad or a good thing. It's not a judgment thing. But I also wonder sometimes whether they even aspire to,
Mm,
take themselves to kind of that next level, or whether they're just kind of comfortable. They need a certain level of listenership because, as you said, it pays the bills, right? You get, if they want a career as
mhm,
a music artist, you have to have some level of success.
you do.
But I just wonder sometimes, I think maybe that's some of what they need to figure out, because they have such potential to truly skyrocket.
Mm,
But do they want that?
yeah.
Do they want what comes with that?
So to me, there's a few really important conversations they've got to have, because at the moment they're at. I've said this to
Mm-hmm.
you, but sod it, I'm just going to fucking say it now. At the moment, they're at a plateau, and they're sat very comfortable on this
Yeah.
plateau, and
Mm-hmm.
they can stay at that plateau, and they can plod along, and they can be what I refer to as jobbing musicians, and you can have a nice career, and you can
Mm-hmm.
play to your super fans. So I'm not going to explain what a super fan is, folks, but look it up. There's a whole
Yeah.
definition in the music industry about what a super fan is. And you can pay to your super fans, and your super fans will follow you all around the world and do whatever you want them to do, and
Mm-hmm.
they will pay your electricity bills and your grocery bills. Or you can diversify, and you can become other things and carry on being a musician. So that could be the fact that Doju might want to go into production and become a producer. It might be the fact that Sammy wants to go into management and be a manager, and they're still making music. It might be the fact that they look at this and they go, right, we've got a solid plateau now. We've got this documentary that's there that has the potential to do this. And we can catapult off of this. But they have got to, one, want to do it. Two, they've got to have a plan in mind of what they want to do. And three, they want to know what their end goal is.
Yeah.
Is your end goal just paying your bills? Fair enough, dude. You're doing it. Cool. Stay what you're doing. Do you want to be big in career? You're going to have to diversify who and what you are to become big in career. Do you want to be Korea's Coldplay international? They have that ability. They could very easily do that. But that takes time, effort, and a lot of understanding who you are, what you're capable of, and those steps and that strategy to become that. If you want to play SoCal Stadium, great, dude. Let's do it. We're all for it. We'll help you. Let's go. But if you're happy enough, selling out YouTube theatre, fair dues, great. That's amazing. I'd love to do that. But they need to know the plans, and they need to know where they are. And at the moment, I see they're at that pivotal point where it can either go up or it can very slowly come down. And it's up to them now.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of agree with you. And I think if they do decide they want to keep that trajectory and they catapult, I think it goes back to what we said earlier. They have to hire. They need to get a careers page on that windfallcreations.com website, because they can't do it with 3 people and 4 band members. They can't. They can't.
And there's good people out there. Yeah.
The Rose, if you're listening, I will gladly come on your payroll. That might be a good place to end it, Kelly.
Yeah, I know you'd gladly go on. Just for yourself. What a surprise.
All right. Well, tell us, listeners, tell us what you think is the future in the comments. What do you think is going to happen with the next steps of the Rose? What would you like to see them do next? Again, please rate our podcast. Leave us comments about this episode. We love to hear your feedback. Follow us on social media on Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. We are at KROK_cast all across the board.
Click here to subscribe.
We love your emails. Please send us emails. Let us know your thoughts that way. It's krock.cast@gmail.com. And don't forget our amazing website, krockcast.com. All right. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.